Hi everyone. So in this video, we're going to work through a Year 12 statistics question from the AS sample paper. In this question, there is a bit of content on sampling techniques, and finally at the end, there is a bit of standard deviation where we have to do a standard deviation calculation. So the question says, Sarah is investigating the variation in daily maximum gust T knots for Camborne in June and July 1987. She used the large dataset to select a sample size of 20 from the June and July data for 1987. Sarah selected the first value using a random number from 1 to 4 and then selected every third value after that. Part A of the question, state the sampling technique Sarah used. But just before we get into the video, I want to make you all aware about a web app that I have created. Now, this app that you see on the screen here is designed to predict the 2027 Edexcel A-level Maths topics that will come up in your 2027 exams. So now that the 2026 exams have finished, we now have access to those questions. So what I've done is I've analysed all of the questions from 2026 back to 2018 and also including the sample and the specimen Edexcel papers. And I've used that data to put together a model which will predict the topics for the 2027 exams. And if we just scroll down here, you will see how accurate this model that I'm using is. So if you do want to have access to the full predictions for the 2027 exams and also have access to a web app which will generate mock exam papers based on these predictions, that is what you can get if you do sign up to this app. Just go to the link in the description of this video, and also you can get the link to this web app in my bio. Click that link, sign up. You can see on the top right of the page here, you can sign up to the app and you'll be able to access all of these 2027 predictions. So if you know your sampling techniques, I hope you would be happy knowing that this is a systematic sample. Systematic sample. If I spelled that right, systematic. Yeah, I think I have, yes. Systematic sample. So a systematic sample is exactly as the question describes here. You'll use a random number generator to generate a number between 1 and some other number. And then you'll take every second or third or fourth or fifth or nth value afterwards so that you get your full sample size, in this case of 20. So that's a systematic sample. Now for part B, from your knowledge of the large data set, explain why this process may not generate a sample size of 20. So again, if you know your large data set, there will be missing days in that large data set, or days without any data where we have no data for the gust in this case. So if you take a systematic sample and your random number generator gives you a number such that when you take every third value after that and another third value, if you land on a day where there is no data, then obviously you're not going to be able to generate a sample size of 20. So we can just say with this question, there are days in June and July 1987 where no value for the maximum gust is recorded. So you can just say if the sample falls on one of these days, if sample falls on one of these days, clearly a sample of 20 won't be generated. Perfect. So that is part B to the question, won't be generated. Perfect. There we go. Just another quick interjection. If you are currently doing Edexcel A-level Maths and you feel that you're struggling or you're falling behind and you're not quite getting that grade that you need to get in order to get into university, or perhaps you're a parent watching this and you're worried about your child's progress, what you can do is you can head to my website. Now, my website is in my bio and also in the description of this video. Click onto the link and you can watch a brief video about me and my background. You see this video on the screen here. In this video, I outline the style and the structure of my tuition. You can also read some of my reviews and testimonials from other parents and students who have worked with me on this website too. So if you feel like one-to-one tuition is something that would benefit you in order to get the grades that you need to get, then again, just head to this website. And what you can do is you can book a free 90-minute call with me. And in that call, we'll spend some time discussing you, your situation, your ambitions, what you want to achieve, the grade you want to get, and why you feel like you're struggling and why you feel like maybe tuition is the right path for you. And we'll also spend some time basically doing a free trial lesson where I will help you out for free with any particular topics or any particular areas of the syllabus that you know you need help with. And by the end of the call, we can then discuss whether one-to-one tuition is the right path for you to get you that grade you need to get. So once again, the link to my website is in the bio and in the description of this video. Now then, part C. So the data Sarah collected are summarized as follows. So n is 20, that's the sample size. The sum of t, so the sum of the gusts, is 374. And the sum of the gusts squared is 7,600, so sigma t squared. Calculate the standard deviation. So if you're comfortable with standard deviation, you should be happy that one of the formulas looks something like this. So sigma data squared, in this case t squared, sigma t squared over the sample size, and then minus the mean squared, so t bar squared. You could also write this in the context of this question like sigma t squared over n, take away, and then the sum of t divided by n, because the sum of t divided by n is literally the mean, okay? And then we're going to square that value. So if we just sub in our values here, so we have the square root of, so it's 7,600 over 20, and then minus this 374 value over 20, and that number's going to be squared. I'm going to just try and squidge in my square root there. There we go. So if we just work out what this would give us, so we've got 7600 divided by 20. So that first value is 380. And then minus this value, so 374 divided by 20, square that number, 349.69. So minus 349.69. Now I will just type this in the calculator to give us our number. So 380 minus 349.69. So this is going to be the square root of 30.31, square root of the answer. So that gives us 5.50545. I'll just stop there. Now, the question didn't want any sig figs, didn't ask for a specific number. We can just give 3 sig figs. That's going to be fine. So 5.5123 sig figs, and that's our answer there. Perfect. So hopefully that question does make sense. If you do have any questions, as always, drop a comment below, and I will try to help you out.